Welcome everybody to join me today. We're going to talk about Canva. So Canva is kind of a design studio platform that I know a lot of people use now. Noreen was really the first one I heard talk about it when I was in Creative Life. Karen used it also. I just wasn't that deep in anything, but I've started using it more and more recently. Probably tell my graphics have gotten better. And a lot of that is that's all thanks to Canva. And so some of the basic stuff actually aren't that hard to do once you kind of know. And like I said, there's a lot in there I don't even do yet and I haven't made. Again, it's one of those programs you just kind of have to get in there and you can kind of slowly start to figure things out, and kind of like an infusion, if you will. So I will show you what I know. Like I said, I consider myself a little bit more intermediate probably in it now. There's probably more I don't know in the advanced, but yeah, Carlin, I did change the graphic for my page. You guys are going to get to see everything I've actually made in Canva when we look at my project. So I'm going to share my screen and find to figure out which one Canva's in. I think it's this one. Okay, do you guys see Canva? So I'm going to go back. I think I'm not on the home page. This is the home page of Canva. So you can, it's a free program to join. You can pay for it. I do pay for it now. You're going to be able to tell things that you would have to pay for to get. They all have a little crown beside them. So if you start getting into content and it has a crown, that's for the paid version. Once I realized I obviously have a pretty big business, and when it comes to doing things like this, I like things to be as easy as possible. And so I was willing to invest in just having it so I don't have to worry about what's paid or not paid. So hopefully a lot of this you can still do in free. So one of the first things to know before you start any project is what size do you want it to be? And this is where the challenges come online, as there's different ratios, the different size of graphics for all of the things you'll see. So most of the Facebook posts you'll see and everything on Instagram are square images. But then, you have a different ratio for like a Facebook cover. A post can be a little bit different. You can make PDFs in here. You can make flyers. You can make things you want to print. But at the start of it, you have to kind of know what size you want. You can do a custom size. Most recently, the Facebook cover, if you're not sure, like when you get into Facebook, some of those things, I suggest just Googling what's the current Facebook cover dimensions to give you some place to start. And Facebook ends up being for the cover like is a 16:9. And so you can start projects from scratch. I think it's easiest when you're new to start with things that are already kind of done for you. So we're going to look at some of my projects to start. What have I made? So recently you've seen the graphics for this event, right? So for the MailChimp and the Facebook one. And so what did I do to start this? I knew I wanted something. You kind of have to know where you want. I figured I'd kind of go with the colors of the programs. And then you can, over here in the magic that they have, magic design is what they call it. You can kind of type in kind of what vibe you're going for, or you can just kind of scroll. And so I scrolled down here. I don't even know if we'll see what I originally started with, but if we wanted to start something new, I tend to lean towards simpler things. But say I wanted to start something new, with this template, I could choose. Now I'm pulling things up. Actually, I'd have to go back and start over. But when you do start something and like create something like I have done here now, you can edit anything you've already made. This is for MailChimp. So after today, we could go ahead and make it now. I want to edit it. Everything on the graphic is a block or a text box or a graphic box, if you will, that you can move around, type, and change. So like when I do the one today for Canva, I'm just highlighting, taking it. Now I want to get the MailChimp guy off here, right? At some point I used Canva because I had a graphic because I made this one. So here it is. So I just searched Canva on Google to find an image. And then here I pulled this one out. It's kind of simple. You can resize it, make it smaller. I can set it on there. And this was originally recorded today, which is the 7th. You see, this part is real easy, right? You're just kind of, if you have something already made, you can edit it. I'll come back and change that part later. I'm going to do. The other nice thing I noticed, like when you're building something with Canva and colors, see if it does it. I want it with a color, usually, yeah, okay. So when I click into something here with, it knows the colors I kind of have in the image. When I pulled in MailChimp, it pulled in that yellow. Let's see. We'll do it again up here. Where's the color? I want to add the photo. I might have to go back out before we get to this part. But that's kind of, once you have a project done, you can go ahead and change anything about it. So let's go back to my projects. What are some of the other ones I've done? I did this one. So this is something I was giving gifts. I'm advertising for gifts with purchase for November. I pulled these graphics off the website. I created a square design, and then I dropped in these photos. So all of our marketing images, you could drop into a single image if you want to have kind of like a 4 square. So these are just the images on the product. We can buy these embellishments. I wanted to advertise that they'll get these for free if they order from me. So I created this one. You can also, I don't want to jump around too much. This is how I've like learned how to use Canva though, right? It's like you have kind of the toolbar, you have the images, you can make anything bigger, anything smaller, you can add text, you can add graphic. Oh, I opened it. That's what, okay. So it opened up my project separately. So I can just go back. I have tabs up here. This is why I'm having trouble backing up. It's because it's opening up a new browser. I created this one for January for my crop. How did I do this one? You probably saw my uploads. You can upload also any graphic. So if you buy the digital kits from Creative Memories, like the papers, the elements for any kits, I always host this retreat in the winter. So I have, this is Winter Frolic from a long time ago. So I have all of these graphics over here I could use. And then I did pull up this paper. So then my background of this graphic is a Fast to Fab paper out of that Winter Frolic kit. And then I could pull in, these were the border things over here. I pulled in the snowflake, I kind of made it big. The snowflake was a little bit brighter. One option in some things is transparency. So it's this thing up here, and you can make something darker. You can see how it's darkening the color. You can also make it more transparent where you back out the color and make it a little bit more maybe of a background piece. Any element also, you can right click into it. You can copy it, paste it, duplicate it, delete it, layer it, align to page. So layering is helpful. If you've used any other, like Microsoft Word gets into this a little bit. If you have, this might be all new to you if you've never done a program, but you can make things forward, backwards, it's in the front. So I want the snowflake to be behind the text. And so I have sent it all the way to the back. Now, maybe I want that in front. I could say, bring it to the front. And I don't know if you can tell so much, but you can see the color of the snowflake on top of my text now because I've layered it all the way up. And if I change that transparency and made it all the way dark, there you can see a little bit more that I have that on top of the text. If I want to send it back, you can layer it. You can send it backward, which will be like one step, or all the way to the back. So if you have multi-layers, this is kind of how you decide what you want there. As far as text graphic, there's so many options over here. Some of them are free, some of them are paid that you can choose. You can see there's a lot of free. Of course, inevitably the fancier ones end up being ones that are not. You can make things smaller, you can make them bigger, you can change the color, bold, italics, underline text, all similar things. The alignment, it's basically like any other text box that you might use. So that was the one I created for Frosted Crop. And I started this, the presentation is a 16:9 ratio. And so when I want to create a design, I could just put 16:9 and it's going to pull up options for me. Square is pretty common and the 16:9 is pretty common. Anytime I do, like the team meeting, I will just open up the one I've made before. This is what I'm making for the YouTube. So when you guys click into the YouTube recording of the team meetings, I want a thumbnail at the beginning of it, so you don't just see kind of the first frame of the video. And so I have to have a graphic to put up there first. It's the same thing. I can edit. So, what would we want for November? Maybe it's more of a Thanksgiving thing. So if I type in Thanksgiving over here, it gives me a lot of options. I can also go into elements. I obviously did Halloween for this one. So I do elements, maybe I want to get rid of the pumpkins, and I could pull in the leaves over here. It's going to pull them in small. I can drag it, make it bigger. Probably don't need the spider webs. I can just delete if I can find it. That sometimes one of the problems is getting to the layer when you're like clicking around. Like there's this box in front. I'm trying to figure out how to get to my spider webs. I can get them out of them. Maybe I locked it. Let's see if I locked it. So I need to unlock it. So I locked my spider webs to the background because I was probably having trouble when I made it of trying not to grab that one and grab this box on front. So I can unlock it, and now I can get my spider web. But once I had this in place, I didn't want it to keep shifting. And so then you could lock it, and so that you can't move that around until you do lock it. It should be unlocked. So I can delete out the spider webs. I can scroll over here with my Thanksgiving graphics. Maybe I want to add a turkey, have this turkey on the side of it. Can make it look like he's holding the sign. I can do some bigger leaves. I'll just change the text, kind of get the drill of how this fun. You can have a lot of fun, right? Looking in it for layers. Maybe I want to try this frame. Here's a frame that has leaves. The problem with some of these is they do have like ratios attached to them. And so I can't really make this bigger than it's really a vertical frame. And I am not always savvy at figuring out sometimes how to make it the size I want. Like I said, this is a trial and error of it. Oh, look, I can turn it that way. It might end up being like you can see I can't drag the sides of it, right? I can't make it wider than it is. So, sometimes elements don't work. You just have to play around. This is a video one. I mean, how fun would that be? You can have kind of one that's kind of moving around. I don't have to do any work with that. I just have to make sure you can't see the stuff behind it. So in Creative Memories does some of their gifts that they're doing with, that's what this is. I kind of like that. Maybe I'll keep that one on there. When I get whatever I'm doing and I'm done with it and I'm happy with it, when I want to get it back to my computer, which is all my goal ever is because I can move it around, I'm just going to click on share. Things automatically save as you work on them. So like I copied this, I need to go in here and change this to be what it is. So I'm not keeping everything I make saved in here. I'm kind of redoing them every time because I don't intend to go back and use it again. You can rename it. And if you hit share, I'm just downloading this back to my computer, and you'll have some options of how to download it. A PDF for print, JPEGs, PNGs. JPEGs, PNGs are the two that you're going to want to use for things you're going to use back on Facebook or Instagram or in MailChimp. This is something Megan probably knows the difference of, like PNG and JPEG. I just kind of go with what they tell me. JPEG's best for sharing, PNG's best for complex illustrations. Sometimes some programs won't pick up PNG, but JPEG's pretty universal. So JPEG is a great place to start. The GIF, I don't know if I need to use the GIF because this is kind of a video thing. This would be new for me, so I'd have to play with it. If I download it as a GIF, see what happens. If I did JPEG, it might be, yeah, it's telling me the video won't work if it's exported as a JPEG, because the JPEG is just a picture, right? So try downloading it as a video. I will say that that's one thing about Canva is is fairly helpful for troubleshooting and kind of figuring out what you want to do. So I have to download this as a video, and then it'll just be on my desktop or downloads or wherever I put things. So maybe I won't really, the video might be a bit much for a team thing. But let's go back. What else have I done? I'm working on my website right now. So, that's kind of what pushed the Facebook thing. This is just a little square I created for one of the categories I'll have on the website, and that's you can see over here this recently used holiday sale. That's where this came from. And so I was just scrolling down here. I think I probably put in sale or something to find something that I wanted to edit. So it's always easiest to just find something kind of started that you want to do, whether you're making maybe a gift certificate for a customer, a PDF flyer, something to post on Instagram. It's always easier to start with something already done. Yeah, you can see the Canva. I've been working on my logo a little bit, icons for there. When you guys see the sale things I do in the shop, this was the autumn one I did. I just was over here, found something similar, something to do. So let's go and create something. So let's create. What do you guys want to create? The other thing I did, another starting point is the postcards that they give us in Advisor HQ. You could use those and start with that, and it's something kind of already done. So I can create a design, and I'll do 16 by 9 is probably pretty close. And then I can go look. I already uploaded it because I knew I did it on my desktop. So you can see I uploaded 2 postcards. So I have the Christmas one and the autumn one. So I can make this bigger. You can see that my presentation choice is a little bit big. I probably need to go figure out what these dimensions really are and just make a custom one. But if you wanted to make an easy flyer for an event, you can pull in one of our postcards. And then over here, you can add additional elements, text, something you've uploaded. I want to do text, or I want to add a text box here. You can have several text boxes if you want to have different sizes or fonts. And maybe you're just going to schedule a holiday open house. And I want to have a prettier font than that. I can just have that box open. I can go over here and look and see, something a little bit fancier maybe. I can make it big. I could add in another text box. It's going to default to that I already have, but I want to maybe put a little bit more detail on this one, something a little bit easier to read. I could say it's Saturday, December. I don't know what the Saturdays are in December. That's obviously really big. I need to make it small. You can do it up here, or you can highlight the whole thing too. If you already know, what, I want that to be 30. I think you can. And it will make that smaller too. And then this little crossbar moves things around for you, or you can just get a hold of it too. And the little arrow circles, that turns things. If you want it to be sideways, or sometimes you see sale banners on the side of something, you can move that around. So you can see you're really just playing with elements, so to speak. And then when you want to share that, same thing, I would download it. So if I wanted to go back and create something for Facebook, I usually just pick the Instagram post because I know it's square and it's usually at the top of my recents. I know I want it to be this side. I posted this for Halloween in Megan I's group, something just to generate some activity. What would be something maybe we want to find, let's see what they have for a holiday open house. You got to be able to type. It's going to pull up open house things, but they don't have a holiday theme. So maybe I don't want to do open house. I could just say holiday sale. Let's do this. It looks like I have some things. So I'm going to start with this. I want to make an open house thing. So they've already given me all these components I can use, or I can move around, like lots of graphics. I could just write over it. Open house sale. My type's kind of big. I can make my text box bigger. I can make it a little smaller. Whatever you want to do. So maybe I'm like, what? I don't love the hot chocolate. I'm going to delete that out. I want to make the scarf a little bit bigger. It's just giving you a starting point with things to play with. That's all that these are over here. Maybe you get into, you're like, nope, I hate that. I want to go something else. Let's do, so it says, do I want a new page? So I can make multiple pages to something, or I can just replace what I have. And I want to replace it. I don't like what I chose. And now I can start over with that. This is where I think, let's see if it will, I go into the text. Okay, here we go. So like I chose this one, it was one of theirs. I clicked into Christmas, and then I went here to color, and this is what was helpful to me is it pulls in the document colors. It's telling me these are the colors in the graphic that you chose. And so if I wanted to do something to coordinate, I could change the color. Maybe I don't want the dark one, but I can choose this, and it's still going to coordinate with the lights. I don't have to go figure out what color that would be. It's kind of choosing for me. If you have colors that you want, like I love green, so this color of green will be one I use on a lot of my stuff on the website. I could add that to my brand kit, so I don't have to go find it every time. I can just, it's right there. You can also, with color, you should be able to go into up here, like, on the color wheel, like when you have the whole spectrum, all the colors have kind of their hex color, if that's what it's called. You can type that in too. So once you know what a specific color is in the color scheme of all of it, so like CM blue is something specific. And if we knew what that was, you could type it in here and it would find it for you. And then a lot of what I do in here is just playing. Like I couldn't even tell you effects. So what's under effects? If I want to change the way my font looks, I can make it thicker, thinner. What's animate? Let's figure out. Oh, I can make it come up, or I can make it come in, kind of create a little bit. It could fade. You can add a page if you want to have, multiple things going on for the same project. Change this. Same, similar colors up here that I can use. So that's kind of what Canva is. It's just this platform that gives you a lot that's already done, but it allows you to also bring in your own elements. I think that the helpful things for me is that it can help make things at the right ratio. It's helpful that whatever you have done, if you just want to edit it, you can pull it back up and just tweak it a little bit. So this is about the extent of what I do. It's pretty simple. Sometimes I get in here and I start something and I hate it and I just like do it again. Sometimes I can't find what I want. Sometimes I just pick something new. So it really is just a work in progress of what you want to work with. They do have a little bit more AI in here now too. Like I think if you wanted to create, one of the examples was like girl on a elephant, rainbow. It's going to pull in things with girls and elephants and rainbows. So if you have like some concept of something you want to start with, and that's where their AI comes in a little bit, that they're trying to work on to help you find kind of what you want to start with. So do you guys have any questions per se of, might be bigger and see you, what to do with it or something to see? That's really what I do. That's what I play with. Something you want to see? Does it feel overwhelming or?
Yeah, so I've only done it for pictures. I've never done it for anything else. If you add something from the CM website that has the CM blue on it, would it not pick up that color?
It should. Yep. Yep. Yeah. If you pull in a graphic, I think it would. And I do pull in, like you can use any of their memes. I don't know if you can break apart their memes. Like if you pulled in one of their things, it's probably all locked together. They're not going to give you elements you can customize, but hopefully it would know the colors that were on there. And some people do bring pictures like that. Like I brought in, you know, pictures. These are not real pictures. They're pictures from the website. You can do the same thing with real pictures. You can upload in them as elements or in your design if you want to have a picture of yourself. Like, you know, this one is, if you were doing something to advertise who you are as an advisor, you can pull in a picture and pull it in there. What else have you done with pictures, Carla?
That's how I do my smaller pictures, like my 4x4s, and
Okay. To resize your photos?
Yeah, that's the only, I mean, I haven't been able to figure out how to do it anywhere else except for Canva.
Yeah, for sizes, for photos, I use Project Life app. It's just the app on my phone where you can pull them in and make like, I do it to make like 2 on a 4x6 is the extent usually what I do, but yeah. So maybe your challenge will be is to go make something and post it to the group. Do you guys have any events or anything coming up this fall? You could get in here and try to create a square graphic for your Facebook group or something to advertise, and then kind of feel it out with. I'll stop
Does
sharing.
house for sale count?
Yes. Yeah, you could. I mean, why not? It's something to post on your real Facebook, you know, picture of your house and some details to the side of a graphic or advertisement. Once you start doing some, it's actually kind of fun because they're not really very hard, and it's fun to kind of play around and see what the different elements are. I get better as I go. You know, I started fairly rudimentary, you know, just kind of starting with the real basics, choosing something of them, changing it. But I do get people will ask me, like in some of the sale ones I put in, like the autumn sale, like, how do you do that? I'm like, I just copied in. I was a little extra. So when Campbell and her friends were meeting for homecoming pictures, I made a little thing to send out. It was like 10 or 12 people, you know, meet homecoming pictures at this day at this park. I sent it out to the moms and they thought it was so fancy. I'm like, no, it took me like 60 seconds, right, to just piece that together and down. But people pay attention more when something's pretty. Same on Facebook. I think you just have to remember not to put too much information on a header or something. Like you want to have somewhere else for them to land with the real details, because a lot of us can't see small type very well, right? On Facebook, you're scrolling. And so when you make it, what are kind of the key components to have that? And then if there's more details to give them, how do they find it? Maybe more in the text of the post. If they're interested, they can read the text. Yeah, just so now, as we talked about with MailChimp Mail and Facebook, as you look at graphics, you see different businesses post, even creative memories, you know, like what elements have they included to build it out, get your attention, maintain their colors or whatnot. I've made PDF flyers too before for like track, or you know, can you make a flyer, you can make a real flyer you want to print with those kind of details on here too. In a printable version, you choose a PDF one and it's going to download it, and something that you could send out as a flyer if you wanted to create an actual flyer to print and hand out. Donna, you've done some lovely brochures. How do you do your brochures?
I've done them in Pages on my Mac.
Okay.
I've
probably
done
similar to Publisher and Microsoft.
Yeah, I've done a little bit on Canva, but what I've done on Canva was try to incorporate the postcard things from Creative Memories. And I struggle. I have to figure out every time how to get it where I want it once I've got it created. I struggle with that.
When you're done with it?
Uh-huh.
How to get it out of Canva?
Uh-huh. And like onto Facebook or something like that. I can print it, but then how do I get it onto Facebook?
Yeah, I do all of this stuff on my computer. So if you're on mobile, I'm not going to be much help because I don't like doing any of this on a mobile device. But I put everything into my downloads on my computer. And then when I'm working in whatever the program is, Instagram or not Instagram, Facebook, then I just go like add a picture or whatever, add a file, and I go find it in my downloads on the computer. So it's kind of you have to have a middleman in the process. I don't try to send I think there's options there to try to send some of this to MailChimp or social, I don't try to do some of that. The integration part's beyond me, right? I'm just going for the basics. Download, upload. So if you're new to all of this, download it, then upload it to wherever you want the end result to be.
Okay. I'll try that.
And make sure it's a JPEG coming out of Canva so that Facebook picks it up as a picture.
Okay. I'm going to try that for my crop next week.
Because if you do a PDF, like a file, Facebook won't show that. So like when there has been times that you see like PDF, like, and you do mega nice challenges, sometimes if I'm really on the ball, I'll convert the PDF to a JPEG so that people can actually see the direction page in the post, because you can't have a PDF and a JPEG in the same Facebook post. And if you put a PDF in there, it's not going to show you any kind of like thumbnail. It's just going to look like a file. And those are really easy to miss. And so I try not to upload files unless it's something that is going to live in the files or someone's going to go find it, like our handouts in the summer scrap. We put those in the guide, but people know to go get the files there to print. Otherwise, I don't use any kind of PDFs really on Facebook. You want to make it a JPEG so that they can actually see it as they scroll.
So Tessa, do you use Canva for your classes, your handouts, or do you?
I haven't yet. I mean, I currently still use Word because it's what I know. Megan uses Photoshop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not, I'm a little bit left-handed in Photoshop still. Canva is probably where I would go. Like, she makes all of our graphics for class in Photoshop. Photoshop is so like high level. There's so many options in there. I get overwhelmed in there. I've done a couple things in there, but I don't like it. I just get lost in it. Canva is much more beginner friendly. And so I think that's probably where I should go next, because a problem in Word is you don't have kind of this text box. I've gotten better about using text boxes for my instructions in Word, so at least I don't have text going all over and wrapping and all of that. When I get other things in my life put together, that's probably the next thing I should look at, is making it in Canva, because then I could make the graphics a little bit more consistent or better. Word's fairly limiting, but I can't blame it on my age. You guys are older than me, but that's what I grew up with, Word, right? So it's still kind of like when all else fails, it's easy, and I know it, even with the challenges and the hard parts, it is. So not yet, but I probably should. It probably would be easier to get there.
I know Noreen Smith, her countdown for that Wednesday night thing, or is it Thursday night? Whatever night that is. That was created on Canva, and I've been trying to figure out how they did that. I haven't had success yet, but I am going to figure it out.
Yes, when I have more time, I should go. I know she's done a video on Canva. I should go watch and kind of be ready for the next level. I think Canva, like a lot of them, it's like you have to get in here and kind of learn the basics of it so that you have a context for the more advanced skills, right? Like whatever Noreen's doing in the graphics. But if you come in here trying to start with that and you don't know where the basic buttons are to do a text box and all that, you're just going to be lost and overwhelmed. And so that's why I say I'm really kind of an intermediate, because I figured out the basics, and now I'm trying to do things like make a logo or make a custom ratio box, like for the website that I'm working on. Some of it has to have very specific ratios. And then what I think the hard part too, when you get more advanced level, it's like knowing what the options are. Like, what can I even add to this? But then as you start to look at other ones, and that's why it's so helpful to have things they start with, is you kind of learn, your brain starts like, oh, these are the layers, right? The transparency is changing. They've used these different layers in this way. And then you can kind of build on it as you go. But I mean, most of us just need the basics, right? We just are looking for a meme to pop on Facebook or an event header. That's really what generates this. Like for any Facebook header event, you needed something to put in a spot. And so that's where this came. YouTube, you don't have to have a beginner thumbnail on YouTube, but it makes it look nicer, right? You're just making the presentation a little bit better. Everyone that's gained YouTube success has or beginning or ending slides. And I think Canva is a good place to start with that. So I would just dig in there. And then if you have questions, message me. You know, we could also just do it one-on-one, and you could screen share with me. I might not know yet either. I really am a click to learn person. I just click all over, figure out what works and what doesn't work. Type in the Canva help, which has helped me several times. I can't remember. There was something I was really stuck on. And that's why I think it's a very intuitive website. I think they do a good job versus Photoshop, which is just like, I just can't hardly handle it. The only thing I do in Photoshop now is change our power hour header for the handouts, because I just keep changing the same one. But
I don't have enough brain cells left for Photoshop. I don't
think I want to have enough brain cells for Photoshop. I mean, because Canva so far, I'm like, I think I can do everything. If I get to that level that I need more than Canva, then hopefully I have enough money to hire someone that
there you go.
Is an expert, right? I used to be able to get Megan to do stuff for me, but now she's busier than me, probably in a lot of ways. So I had to figure out my own stuff. I had to be a big girl with my graphics. She's made me like gift certificates in the past and things like that. So it's, once you learn the basics, if you have a customer come to you, and I did, this year, it's like, I want to give a $60 gift certificate to so-and-so. Just get in Canva, search gift certificate, pull it up, edit it a little bit, print it or email it. It just looks so much more professional, something to deliver to them. So you can make your own wish list if you don't like the Creative Memories wish list, or sky is really the limit. So that's your challenge, is to make something and share it in the team group. And same for anyone watching this on the recording. Share your graphic, and then if you learn anything or you have a tidbit you want to share, feel free to include it in there too, so that we can all learn as we go. It's simpler than MailChimp, I think. I think this is simpler than figuring out Facebook. If you can figure out those two, I think Canva will be all right for you. Okay, any other questions? You go play with it now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you want to join us,
what site do you use for your to resize your photos?
I use Project Life. It's an app on my phone. And so if I want to print 4x3 or 2x3, I just pull my photos into there. Now, granted, most of my photos these days are on my phone. And so if I was pulling photos off my computer, I don't know what I would do. I haven't done
Canva,
that yet.
like I do.
I would probably use Canva. Or I have Adobe Lightroom. It probably is an option in there too. I just haven't got to that far yet. But yeah, Project Life is the app on my phone. And so if I'm doing 4x3s, I'll put them in there and re-download it back to my phone. So then it just looks like another picture on my phone. It just has two pictures on one. And then I send it to Walmart to print, or my Epson printer, or whatever I'm doing for that. Okay, well, if you want a beginner class, Megan and I are on at 1 o'clock. We're actually doing the Hello Baby. We've ran out of Creative Memories beginner level stuff. So we're doing the Hello Baby layout at 1, if you want to join us. It's the same link as Power Hour, I think. So, all right. Well, let me know if you have questions. Thank you.
Thank
See ya.
you.